Hello, dear student, welcome back. You are here with me again with the third lesson. Yes, the title of this lesson is Discovering TUT. Yeah, Discovering TUT. We have discovered this man. And who was this? Who is TUT? And what is TUT? Actually, TUT is the king of Egypt. Saga continued, then what? Saga here means the tragic story, legend story, and the detailed story of the famous person, which is continued. Why it is tragic, or why it is so you're famous, and why this would become so important to us, why we are studying about Tut here in this lesson. Yes, actually when he became a king, he was in his teenage. His family was considered so powerful and ruled his country for many centuries. And then he became a king, and he reigned for some time, and finally got dead, and eventually everyone, his countrymen, had forgotten him. In 1922 we saw that he was discovered by some. Actually, this was a Carter. He was a British archaeologist who invent and who discovered this mummy. Actually, he was buried in form of mummy, and he was discovered in 1922, and it was in a bad conditions, as Jair was, who was associated with the archaeological department of Egypt, said that his mummy, the Tut's mummy, was not in a very good conditions. It was in a bad conditions. When it discovered in 1968, it x-rayed, which gives some clues about his life and death, which provides, okay, when he undergone a CT scan, जब उसका CT scan किया गया, that often new clue about life and death, which provide the precise and accurate the kind of data for forensic reconstruction of this boyish king. When he was brought out for scanning, what happened then? Here we will talk about how he is important and why he is important here. When he was taken out of his resting place, from his resting place in ancient Egyptian cemetery, where all the king had been buried for a long time, when he was taken out of that place, the angry wind stirred up ghostly dust dabble. Dark valleyed cloud scudded across the desert sky all day, and they were trying to hiding in the wailing here. They were hiding the star in a casket grey. Surmai Patari mein. This is a kind of box. They were trying to hiding, it seems. कि तारों को भी जैसे मानो वो छुपाने की कोशिश कर रहे. It was 5th January 2005 at 6 p.m. when his body was put into the CT scanner to provide the lingering mystery of about this young, understood, little small boy and a small king who had died 3,300 years ago. The various tourists who came from all over the world is going underground, which was actually his tomb was 26 under the ground, 26 feet underground from the main ground. From the main ground, it was beneath that. It was, below 26 for the feet, and where his burial chamber had made. And many visitors and they were watching and looking the mural over the wall of his burial chamber, and they were looking and peering over there and its guided coffin, especially its outer coffin's lid, which was so much striking. Many visitors read the guidebook with low sound And many who were standing there silently have been thinking, and I might have been thinking or pondering over his untimely death, and they were thinking about that, is it true? If any one disturbed him in his peace, misfortune falling upon him, death may come, and the difficult situation he have to face, and he has to face, sorry, is it true? Here, Mr. Carter said that Mummy was not in a bad condition, not in a good condition, because Carter had, ransacked it in hastily after many years futile efforts. He had discovered this mummy in 1922. Jai Hawa said that mummy was not in a good condition. It was in a bad conditions, but surprisingly, its all remained was complete itself, and it was the richest royal collection ever found, and becomes a part of legends. उसके डिटेल का हमारे फोरा का किंग का लेकिन एक रॉयल कलेक्शंस बन जाता है. It was the richest royal collection ever found in the history of such collections. And when we saw that the stunning artifacts had been buried along with which guarantee its resurrections, पुनर्जीवन की जो मानो गारंटी देता हो, at the time of discovery he draw the attention all over the world. Still it is getting the attention same way as he got at that time when he discovered. Tut was buried with with these things that he would need after his death, like bronze games, bronze razor, board game, bronze razors, linen undergarments, and the cases of food and wines was also there with. It was very interesting to know here that after months of recording the boyish fora, he began investigating about his three-nested coffin. When he opened the first, he found that he was adorned with the different kind of the petals and flowers and the leaves and flower that only they produce in the month of March and April, which give the further evidence of his death, that further evidence that he might have got dead in the month of March and April. Finally, when he reached at the mummy, he ran into the trouble, and anything that he could use, the legitimate force he could use to keep them apart and to move them, nothing happened. Then in his frustration, he said that what has to be done. Carter was very much disappointed, and he said that क्या किया जा सकता है, इसके लिए क्या किया जाए. So he tried the sun to loosen its resins, because its resin and its body was so much cemented with the Tut's body. So he decided to use the sun, because sun at the far south in Egypt is so hot. So he set the mummy outside in the blazing sunshine, where it heated up to the 149 degree, but nothing happened. Then in his scientific detachment, in his disappointment, he said that I have the only options to keep them apart through using chisel. Kings के remains उठाने से पहले I have only options to use chisel to keep them apart. उसको अलग करने के लिए he used the chisels. ठीक है, क्यों उसको अलग करना पड़ा. So Carter here in his defense, he had nothing to say, and he said that if I hadn't did that, or if I had not do the same thing, अगर उस वक्त मैंने वो काम नहीं किया होता, it was sure. Okay, here Carter said that if I didn't and hadn't cut the mummy apart, thieves most certainly circumvented the guard too, or ripped it apart to the gold, actually removed the gold. बिकॉज गार्ड को वो चीट कर सकते थे. ही इज मे प्लान अंडर द ग्रीड ऑफ गोल्ड. सो उसने इसको उसके जो मेजेस एक्चुअली अलग कर दिया, उसको छेनी से अलग अलग कर दिया. ऑल दोज ऑर्नामेंट दैट ही हैड, ही उसने जैसे कैसे भी छेनी का यूज करके उसको अलग कर दिया था. एंड देन एट दैट टाइम Toots and his family was fabulously wealthy, and they thought and they hoped that we can take these riches along with that far journey and beyond that the journey. So he was boarded along with very very lavish things, and these are like inland necklaces, precious collars, the glittering goods. Actually this can be called, इनको कहा जा सकता है कि भी चमचमाती हुई चीजों के साथ, लाइक जैसे द प्रीशियस कॉलर है, इनलैंड नेकलेसेस है, ब्रेसलेट है, एंड द रिंग्स, एमुलेट्स, सेरेमोनियल एप्रोच, द शीथ फॉर रिंग्स, शीथ फॉर toes and fingers. And now you can see his iconic in a coffin and mask, which all was pure gold. So what should be done here? Because they thought that we can take these riches along. भी साथ हम इन चीजों को ले सकते हैं. They thought that we will need all these things after life. So here, to separate Tut from his adornment, Carter's men removed his head and then every major joint. And having been done that, they reassembled them on a sand in a wooden box and concealed its damage with the padding. And he is resting there where he was laid at that time. कि जहां पर उसको रखा हुआ था ना, आज भी वो वहीं पे है. In the intervening decades, archaeology has changed substantially, which focus less on treasure, more on fascinating details of intriguing mysteries of life and death. Modern sophisticated tool also we have invented in the meantimes, and including science, medical science, medical technology, that in which we had got so much advancement and inventing different type of tools and advanced technology by which we can we can know various with छोटे से छोटी है ना, नैनो में जो हमारी बीमारियां है जो फाइंड आउट आज की डेट टाइम में हम कर सकते हैं, बिकॉज ऑफ मॉडर्न सोफिस्टिकेटेड टूल्स एंड मॉडर्न साइंस, एडवांसमेंट इन द मॉडर्न साइंस. सो हियर anatomy professor x-ray the mummy, and he gives some startling fact about Toots, that there was something missing. The breastbone and some ribs were missing. This was something startling about at that time, कि जिसके बारे में शायद इससे पहले कोई ज़्यादा पता नहीं था. एंड देन यहाँ पे सडनली हमें पता चलता है कि उसके जो रिब है वो कहीं ना कहीं वो मिस हो चुके थे. The today's diagnostic imaging can be done with the help of computed tomography, and where a CT scan by which 100 X-rays can be put together in a slice of bread and can create and can produce a 3-dimensional virtual body. कि भी जहाँ पे हम क्या कर सकते हैं, CT scan and X-rays are so much in use today. So when you want to create 3-dimensional virtual body, so for this purpose you can put different many X-rays, बहुत सारे X-rays को आप in a slice of bread के रूप में आप उसमें डाल सकते हैं, and so you can produce the 3-dimensional virtual body. वास्तविक बॉडी का एक तरह से निर्माण कर सकते हैं. Alright, that here said in 1968, more than 40 years after Carter's discovery, 40 years after Carter's discovery, an anatomy professor X-ray the mummy had revealed a startling fact that there was something missing. It was breastbone and ribs missing. Okay, because we have made so much advancement in this period, and diagnostic imaging can be through the CT scan, where we can put many X-rays, hundred of X-ray in a cross section. Cross sections maybe we can put together like a piece of bread and a slice of bread by creating the three-dimensional virtual body. Here, tooth के बारे में हम when we are talking about the CT scan or X-ray. So here the question raised, the question यहाँ पे उठता है, यहाँ questions raises that could it answer the three biggest still lingering question about TUT? What was the age of his death and how did he die? वो कैसे मरा और उसकी डेथ के टाइम उसकी एज क्या था? That is really a mystery. And still lingering these questions, अभी तक जो ये लटके हुए questions है, क्या is it possible to give answer of these two questions? Okay, King Tut's demise, King Tut's death was the big news at that time, even a royal standard, राजसी परिवार जो ये रॉयल फैमिली है उसके हिसाब से भी एक बहुत बड़ी घटना थी, बहुत बड़ी ये न्यूज़ थी. Because the death of Tut was not only the death of Tut, actually it was the death rattle of his dynasty. उसके dynasty की भी एक तरह से मौत थी. Because what happened with him at the time of death and what happened after him is unclear, not clear exactly, nothing. We don't have any evidence about his death and his aftermath and afterward what happened. कुछ भी नहीं है. Amenhotep, Tut's father and grandfather, okay, and was a powerful king of Egypt who ruled for 4 decades in his 18th dynasty's golden age. भी 18वें राजवंश के सुनहरे टाइम में उन्होंने ये जो यहाँ एमेनहॉटप थे 4 दशकों तक शासन किया था. And after him his son succeeded the throne and he take over the kingdom, and he initiated the strangest period in the history of Egypt, and he started and promoted the worship of sun disk, which he used to call Aten. Not only that, he actually changed his name as well. He renamed himself Akhenaten. He changed the religious capital from Thebes to the Akhenaten, which is called, but today it is called Amarna. Not only that, but also he smashed all the images of Ammon, who was their major god, and smashed and destroyed the temple as well. Ray Johnson said that it must have been a horrific time. Emperor in the dynasty which ruled for many centuries with such a grace was coming to end, and Akhenatans and this ruler was going to, he bent to Veki, वो पागल हो गया था, सन की हो गया था. And after him there come a mysterious ruler, Smenkhare, who appeared for a brief and short time and exit without trace. Nothing, we don't have any clue about it. इसके बारे में भी कोई ज़्यादा जानकारी हमारे पास नहीं थी. So after him it was the Tut about which we are talking about, and Tut widely known. It was Tutankhamun, and later he changed his name to Tutankhamun, servant of Amun. And he restored all the previous, the way of performing worship and all the lifestyle जो पहले का होता था उस Akhenaten से पहले. So he restored order, and unexpectedly he reigned only for 9 years. 9 साल के लिए वो शासन करता है. Unexpectedly God died. क्यों खत्म हो जाता? What happened? कुछ भी नहीं. जैसे हम थोड़ी देर पहले कह रहे थे कि that was the death rattle of his dynasty. उसकी राजवंश का या उसके अपने वंश का भी एक तरह से वो खात्मा था. So regardless of his famous speculation about his fate, that Tut was one mummy from the many among mummy of the Egypt, And Egyptian has started its inventory in 2003, and they have counted 600 so far, and still they are counting. And the next phase of their when they discovered, then when they found the mummy, then afterward in the next stage they put them into the scanner and they try to scan them. And this is the scanner which is denoted by the Siemens, its manufacturers, जिसका जो manufacturer था उसने इसको है ना उस मशीन में वो क्या करते थे, उसको स्कैन करते थे. Okay, the King Tut is one of the first mummy to be scanned in death as in life. And और उसके बारे में स्पेशल थिंग क्या है, एज इन लाइफ मूविंग रीगली अहेड ऑफ हिज कंट्री में. कि भाई आप जीवन में होते हुए तो आप है ना यू टेक द जॉय ऑफ योर लाइफ विद ग्रेट ग्रेस. और आप का स्कैनिंग भी होता रहता है क्योंकि हमें डिफरेंट टाइप की बीमारी होती रहती है, तो स्कैनिंग. बट आफ्टर लाइफ या डेथ में भी जिसको यहाँ स्कैन किया गया है, दिस इज रियली good news for everyone. So CT scan, machine scan mummy head to toe, creating digital X-ray image to register its for what? CT scan machine scan the mummy head to toe, creating 700 digital X-ray image in cross section. Tut's head scan in 0.62 millimeter slice to register its intricate structure. Takes an airy details in the resulting image. With Tut's entire body similarly recorded, इसी तरह से पूरी तरह से पहले उसका हेड का एंड सिमिलरली फिर बाकी उसके चीजें पूरे शरीर का उसका क्या किया गया, स्कैन किया गया. एंड देन टीम ऑफ radiologists, forensic anatomy began to prove the secret that that the being goddesses of gilded burial shrine protected for so long. And the group of the expert in which comprises the radiologist, forensic associated with the crimes, and radiology associated with the accident and all, and then anatomy who is associated with the हमारे अपने structure से संबंधित, उनके एक ग्रुप ने ये प्रूव करना शुरू कर दिया. एंड द नाइट ऑफ द स्कैन द वर्कमैन कैरीड Tut फ्रॉम हिज रेस्टिंग प्लेस, एंड when they were carrying him like a pall bear, they get into the stairs में आते हैं या फिर climb to ramp and then went and the flight on the stairs into the swirling sand outside. This is the word, swirling sand outside. When they have taken up this Tut from his resting place, angry wind, angry sand was flying here and there outside, उसके बाहर, ठीक है. And then what happened outside? Then rose on a hydraulic lift into the trailer that had in the scanner. 20 minutes later, the two men emerged out office nearby, and they returned with the plastic fan, because $1 million का जो वो एक स्कैनर था दैट द स्टॉप वर्किंग, उसने काम करना बंद कर दिया बिकॉज देयर गेट्स वो कूल जो सैंड था उसमें घुस जाता है, बिकॉज ऑफ दिस स्टॉप वर्किंग, इसने काम करना बंद कर दिया. एंड देन द गार्ड हु वाज देयर एंड हु वाज कैरिंग दैट दिस द प्लास्टिक फेंस, दे नर्वसली इवन दो बट जोकिंगली दे सेड इट वाज अ कर्स ऑफ कोरा, ये शायद उसका अभिशाप है, कोरा का अभिशाप है कि ये $1 million का जो स्कैनर था ना वो ठप पड़ गया. बट द फैन दैट दे कैरिड वर्क वेल enough to complete the procedure of that scanning. And then he said here, eventually the substitute and the extra and additional the fan worked well enough to finish the procedures of that scanning. After checking that no data had lost, and the technician turned Tuts over to the workman. Within 3 hours they keep Tut's body back to its resting place, जहाँ पर prized लोगों ने, and where the funerary past had laid him so long ago. इतने साल पहले जहाँ वो पुजारियों ने जहाँ उसको दफना के रखा हुआ था, उसको within 3 hours, actually not within, less than 3 hours, 3 घंटे से भी कम समयों के अंदर they keep this body back to its own place. But back in the trailer, a technician pulled up astonishing images and a TUT on a computer screen, and a gray hat took shape from a scattering of pixel. When they scatter the pixel, there comes the shape of head की एक shape आनी वहाँ पे शुरू हो गई थी. Neck vertebrae appear as clear as in the anatomy classes, and not only that also, but other images revealed like hand, several views of the rib cages and the transection of skull, and all these things appear as clear as in anatomy classes. Then here Jaya who was feeling so relaxed. The pressure was off now, and sitting back in his chair, Jaya said that, and he was visibly he was so much relieved and said that nothing wrong had gone. भाई कुछ भी ऐसा गलत नहीं हुआ, और we can say nothing had gone seriously wrong. So because I couldn't sleep last night even a second, भी एक second के लिए नहीं सोया, but now I'm in a position to take sleep. I can go and have a nice sleep. By the time we left the trailer, descending metal stair into the sandy ground, the wind had stopped. What does it mean? जब देखो, by the time we left the trailer, जब उन्होंने ट्रेलर को छोड़ा, the descending metal stairs, when they were going in the metal stairs, and in the stairs में से जब वो नीचे, they were going down to the sandy ground, they observed that the wind had stopped till then. तब तक ये खत्म हो गई थी. It means when you are taking this storm out of its resting place, angry winds stirred up like dust के devil, ghostly dust devils की तरह वो एक तरह से. और बादल देखो कैसे इधर उधर उड़ते रहते हैं डेजर्ट स्काई में, सॉरी वो जो मरुस्थल के ऊपर का जो आकाश है, पूरे दिन भर वो उड़ते रहते हैं, वो तारों को मानो वो सुरमई पटारी में वो छुपाने की कोशिश कर रहे थे, एंड ऑल दैट थिंग्स. बट एज सून एज यू कीप दिस बॉडी बैक टू इट्स प्लेस, वो स्टॉप हो जाती है. So yeah, the winter air lay cold and still like death itself. Winter air, ठंडी जो हवा है विंटर की, it was so cold as death itself, कि मानो वो मौत ही है. And in this valley of the departed, in this valley of the मृतकों की इस घाटी में, and just above the entrance to Tut's body stood Orion. There was the Orion just at the entrance of Tut's tomb के पास ही, उसकी वो जो tomb है वहाँ पे, the constellation, it is a तारामंडल that the ancient Egyptian king knew as the soul of Osiris. प्राचीन जो मिस्रवासी थे, they considered them as the soul of आत्मा, ओसिरिस की आत्मा के रूप में उसको जानते थे या मानते थे. and he was the god of afterlife, अगले जन्म का देवता he is considered. So watching over the boy king, and he was watching this boy from this place as he was stood just at the entrance of Tut's body. And then what was he doing there? He was keeping watch over this boy, and he was considered the soul of Osiris, and Osiris is considered the god of afterlife. So that's it. That was your lesson number 3. I hope you will take the best out of it. And there are some pretty questions as well, like देखिए, why Jaya was resented with the cartel investigation, why he said that it was in a bad condition, why he has to repeated scrutiny क्यों करना पड़ा, repeatedly why he was scrutinized and why he was investigated, and what was there for the investigation and all, and what the ancient Egyptians thought about the dead body, and what was the thought in their mind in regard of burying lots of precious things along with the dead body. क्या इसके पीछे का उनका लॉजिक रहता था, and why he went to Becky, what the Ray Johnson said about Akhenaten's. ठीक है, एक्नेटन के बारे में उसने ऐसा क्या क्या बोला था कि वाई जब वो बैकी हो जाता है, बिकॉज ही स्मैश गॉड, उसने स्मैश कर दिए थे, टेम्पल क्लोज कर दिए थे, एंड इनिशिएटेड द स्ट्रेंजेस्ट पीरियड इन द हिस्ट्री ऑफ देयर इन इजिप्ट. ओके, दीज आर समथिंग